Spencer comes to us from the director of Jackie, and this is his second historical biopic of some figure that's been in the tabloids and talked about quite often. Jackie, starring Natalie Portman, being pretty good. I was excited to see what Spencer was all about, especially since I'm a big fan of Kristen Stewart. And I heard many great things about her performance, and as someone who's been championing her work for many years, I couldn't wait to see what she could do. This film takes place over 3 days in 1991, Christmas Eve, Christmas, and Boxing Day. And over these 3 days, we watch Princess Diana struggle with the fact that she is royalty, and all of the hidden hardships and restrictions that come with being that. When you have biopics like this, it's very easy for them to become boring. You can have films that just go on and on and on, that are sort of enraptured by themselves, that have a lot of scenes that don't seem to have a point, that just keep going and going and going because the production design and costumes are beautiful. Spencer is nothing like that. I love this movie. I think it's a masterclass in not only writing, but acting and directing. This is a gorgeous looking movie for so many reasons. The cinematography is absolutely beautiful, but it's also shot on film, and man, you can fucking tell. I miss film so much. I understand that it's very difficult to shoot on it nowadays in regards to like watching things back very quickly, and you're paying for film stock, and doesn't really matter. I miss it. I fucking miss it so much. And I wish I could afford to shoot my film on it, but we can't. Maybe in the future I'll be able to afford to shoot on film, but this movie looks like 1991. The costumes, the production design, the look of the film, everything that's in the movie just evokes the era, even though you're in this beautiful fucking house that nobody has in real life. Nobody lives like this. And it's just amazing what the art department pulled off in this movie. And especially the costumes and hair. I mean, I don't usually notice these types of things, but the hair and the costumes, the makeup in general is just fucking phenomenal. It really adds a lot to the movie, and it's something that isn't discussed that much until you're actually on set making movies. You don't realize how much those things go in to the feel of it all. But yes, everything that's been said about her work is true. I think this is the best performance she's ever given. She disappears into this role. And obviously I'm biased being a big fan of her, but you know, if she was terrible, I would notice, and she wasn't. She really embodied Princess Diana. I remember being a kid and hearing about her death and how tragic it was. The film doesn't concern itself with that. This is more of an exploration of how difficult it was for her to conform to being in the public eye, to not being able to choose what you wear. You have someone dressing you for every meal of the day. You have to dress with your blinds closed because a photographer with an extremely long lens could potentially capture photos of you naked. And it's kind of disheartening to listen to all these things because you hear about people who live like this and you probably immediately think, well, they live a very lavish lifestyle, and wouldn't it be so nice to live like that, until you really start to think about what it would be like to live like that. And it seems kind of shitty. Yeah, you have servants around you preparing meals all day, and you have no money concerns, but you also can't just go to McDonald's. You can't go to Target, or in the case of in the 90s, she couldn't go to Kmart. I don't know. And this, the fact that like you don't have that kind of freedom, it makes everything else feel kind of useless. Like, this film depicts how difficult it is for her to just take her sons to a restaurant. If you take somebody like Princess Diana, who clearly wasn't as into the royal life as other people who are in the royal family, and you place her in that scenario, it's going to be ripe for drama. And the film explores a lot of things that have been publicized about her, namely bulimia, as well as self-harm, and some other things that have been made known about her, as well as a few things that are sort of fictional. The film describes itself as a fable early on, with a title card that says a fable of a true tragedy. But I love the way the film captured a moment in time so well. Just these 3 days. You really feel like you're there for 3 days with her and experiencing the complete lack of privacy. I mean, there's a scene where she goes downstairs into the freezer and tries to just eat some dessert late at night. One of the head guards, played by Timothy Spall, follows her down there and asks her what she's doing, and she's just trying to have some cake. The fact that she was starting to be perceived as a troublemaker by the people around her made everyone follow her around and try to push her into doing certain things, because like if she just wanted to go to a restaurant or sneak down into the freezer in the middle of the night to have some cake or change her clothes with her blinds not shut, these things were perceived as offenses. There's even a sequence where her son is expected to go out and shoot some pheasants, and everyone's just going to stand and watch the boy shoot some pheasants. And she's like, "What are you doing with the pheasants?" And they're like, "Well, some of them will go to the dogs. We might have some scraps that we could use for dinner, but the rest is going to be thrown away." And she's like, "I don't want my kid to go out and shoot pheasants." And it's like this whole legitimate conflict. And it sounds kind of silly when I say it like that until you watch it and you see how serious all of these regimented things were to this family. And you really understand how if you put the wrong person in that scenario, it would just absolutely grate on their nerves. And Kristen Stewart, once again, I must say, is a really smart casting choice for this. Most actors have gone through a lot of public scrutiny. Anybody who is a public figure has. And it's difficult sometimes to come to terms with that, the lack of privacy or the loss of anonymity. And she really gives a lot to this role. And I hope that she's Oscar nominated for it because I think she deserves it. Guys, please do check out Spencer in theaters. I think it's a really good movie. And this is coming from someone who doesn't necessarily rush out to the theater to see a historical biopic. But this one I thought was excellent. Guys, thank you so much as always for watching. Look forward to more videos very soon. And if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.